Yeah, I'm tweeting right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Sorry. Hey, everyone. Welcome to TGS Game Stream. We've got kind of a new one for you today. I'm going to introduce what's going on in a second, but first, Corey has a wonderful anecdote about Indiana Jones that I just wanted to make sure that we made public.
Okay, no, it was the biggest nightmare of my life. We were in Trail Days Fest. I was 19 years old, and we got into Trail Days Fest. We were on the Appalachian Trail, and so we were in Virginia, Damascus, Virginia. We had our backpacks and like we're used to hitchhiking around stuff like that. And Trail Days, huge festival. Everyone's used to seeing hikers and shit. They'll pick them up. We decide that we are going to go see Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull because we're on the trail. We haven't seen a movie in a long time, and like it's Indiana Jones, so like fucking hell yeah. So the nearest movie theater was like 3 towns over. So we drop our backpacks off at the hostel and we throw our thumbs out and we get picked up like immediately by this couple. Like they were drinking beers or whatever, but it was pretty chill. And they brought us to the movie theater. The movie itself was Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. It was not very good. And not for like all of the I won't even get into that because it's actually ancillary to the worst experience of my goddamn life because we get out of the movie theater and it's now 10 o'clock at night and then we realize, oh shit, we don't have our backpacks anymore. We are like 25 miles away from where our shit is, and we're 3 dudes hitchhiking on a fucking on the road at fucking 10:30 at night. Do you know who picks up 3 dudes at 10 o'clock at night hitchhiking?
Cops.
Fucking
Other serial killers?
Yeah.
Other serial killers.
We walk and walk and walk, hitchhiking and hitchhiking and hitchhiking. We finally get to this fucking gas station. We're like offering people money. And this young woman eventually comes up to us and she's like, I'll give you guys a ride if you have money. So we gave her money for gas. And immediately upon getting in her car, after she pumps her gas, she sits down, turns and looks at us and goes, y'all didn't steal my weed, did you? And I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to be a whole fucking thing, isn't it? And it indeed was a whole fucking thing. We found out that she had a suspended license, which she got from driving with a suspended license, which is incredible. She took us on the phone with her baby daddy. Well, he explained all the different women that he was having coitus with, which she thought was amusing, and I was terrified as she swerved all over the road listening to Eminem at full volume. And eventually we got her to drop us off about fucking like 5 miles from the fucking hostels because we were like, fuck it, we don't need this lady to know where we are.
Holy shit.
Jesus.
I thought you were going to be like, I really didn't like it. And I was going to be the end of this fucking story.
Yeah, right?
No.
Honestly, yeah, you win.
Indiana Jones might have been. Yeah, it might have been the worst experience of my life. It was terrifying.
My God.
Tiffany, if you're out there, thanks for the ride.
You guys ever taken an Uber in Vegas? They're all like that.
That's
Every
cool.
one of them.
No.
They never shut up.
On that note, hey, let's introduce this man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. So, anyways, now that that's good and done, we'd like you to meet Drew. Drew is our very special guest for this week's episode, because we are testing character creation for our new TTRPG game, Vault Peddlers. Drew is Drew. How would you describe your relationship with the project?
Very intimate.
Very, very intimate. Drew is very intimate. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, at first I thought you were going to say this is our very special friend, and I was like, all right, we're just going to go down this path right now, and we're just going to stay there the whole time. No, so I met Corey through some friends, and we play tabletops together, and one of those friends was like, hey, my friends are super interesting and really creative, and they need a little help on, like, the advertisement side of things, the sales side of things, maybe a little bit the businessy side of things. And I was like, I mean, I got nothing going on. So, yeah. So if you're ever talking to people on the Twitters, on like TGS games, that's probably me like 90% of the time.
He does a phenomenal job.
Yeah. If you're watching our shit right now, largely you're watching it in no small part to Drew.
Yeah, very much. Corey and I are both notoriously bad with social media. We are not talented at it at all. If you want proof of that, you can go check out the Here Be Monsters Twitter for proof.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a different kind of good. But Drew has been a phenomenal asset. That's
how I'm going to describe things that are bad for the rest of my life. No, it's just a different kind of good.
It's a different kind of good.
Yeah, and also I'm the moderator of the chat, so I'm always watching.
Yeah, eagle eyes on Drew. Can't get anything
and by that
him.
I mean pre-programmed shit, and the layout's really just annoying when I'd rather just be watching it normally.
But yeah, no. On top of that, though, Drew constantly comes to us in the background with questions about like, well, how does this game work? And in particular, recently, because we've been going into it more and more, he's been asking a ton about character creation. And we thought, well, what a better way to kind of kill two birds with one stone. We can show Drew how this works. And we can also, take a week and put that up on stream to kind of show people getting introduced to that firsthand. So what you're looking at right now on this side of the screen is both the 1E doc, which you have seen every week on our stream. This is the main document that we have used to make the mechanics of the game. And then further over to the left, you also have our character sheet, which Corey has meticulously made. It is... Dog, it's so gorgeous. Like, it's still one of like my favorite things that's come out of this. Like, it's so pretty. And what I did was I took Corey's beautiful creation and I mangled it into Google PowerPoint slides and added a bunch of text boxes for Drew to fill out as we go through the character creation process. And that way you guys can see Drew edit things in real time as we sort of go down this path. Drew and or Corey, I mean, do you guys have anything you want to get out before we like get started on this, or?
I mean, I don't know, like contextually, if it would help to Drew, I know your experience with tabletop games.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So I've played about 4, maybe 5 different systems. 4 of those systems being in the past 9 months ish.
What else?
Corey gestating in the womb. It's just the timing worked out.
How did that happen, Drew? That's so many systems in such a short period of time. How could that possibly have happened?
I want to say ADHD, but I don't want to throw out shade.
It could be anything.
We'll call it neurodivergence
of some kind.
So I played a lot of 3.5 D&D for a long time. I enjoyed the rigidity of the system, and I enjoyed the fact you can just kind of ignore shit because it's thick at times. You can just ignore certain systems if you want to. Played a mix of 3.55E and then hopped right into, I believe, we did Lancer, we did Rogue Trader.
Yep.
Now we're on Pathfinder, which I've never did a full dive into 5e, so Pathfinder was still pretty darn new for me.
Yeah.
And since I normally kind of wing it when it comes to character creation, I chose to not really look at any of this stuff. I mean, I've seen this image like a bajillion times, but I'd be lying if I said I thoroughly read it once.
That's fine.
So no, I think it's going to be true to form for someone who picks up the game and doesn't know what they're doing. I mean, I've never played a dice pool system.
I was just going to say I think it's actually better.
I mean, I've never played a care of. I mean, we did the ship in Rogue Trader. That game's pretty gosh darn heavy, so I'm curious to see how those two things line up if we make it that far tonight. But if you're in that boat, I think I've probably played more TTRPGs than 90% of people that have played them, because 90% play D&D and they kind of hang out there for a very long time.
Yeah.
So if you're kind of in that zone of like, I've played a couple and this is a new game, my experience that I'm going through now is gonna be roughly that experience.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think there will be some recognizable traits in here from some of the games that you've played. Mostly because, like, you know, you consume and then regurgitate things, right? Like that is how art and creation works. Like,
Of course.
McNancy,
One original
absolutely
song
correct.
once, and no one alive has ever heard it.
Yeah. McNancy, absolutely correct. Those are relatively crunchy systems. Vault Peddlers has done a pretty good job, I think, of giving a nice balance of like a good bit of mechanical crunch with a lot of rules light kind of filigree that sort of fills out a lot of the blank spaces in that system. So I'll be curious to see how that works. It'll be really cool to see how you react to this whole process and to see how that, I don't know what the different reactions are. But obviously glad to have you with us.
It's great to see you find fantastic human beings on a Thursday. What can I say? And I'll definitely be kind of extrapolating a little bit too, like, and I'll be asking questions I might not ask it at a normal table. Whereas I'm just going to ask you right off the bat, as opposed to like, let me try to figure out for a couple minutes.
That
way we just kind of narrate the experience, and people can ask questions too. And if we can't get them answered, we'll figure it out, because that's what we're looking for too, right? It's like,
very much.
Oh, maybe this doesn't make sense to like just everybody, because you guys have been in this game for 2 years, maybe. Or so
are you suggesting that we might have blinders on? How dare you?
Yes.
Get out of my room.
How dare I? With gusto and skullduggery, actually.
And skullduggery. There you go.
With a plum.
Can we change one of the ones to gusto, just because it's been like my word of the month?
Gusto should be on here.
What would it be? Like ferocity, I guess.
Next to gumption. Why don't we have a gumption stat?
It could be like, they could both be like meta currencies. Like, I want to roll with
gumption if you're using like a mental skill.
Gumption and gusto.
Yeah.
Gumption bucks.
Absolutely not. Pettycoin stays the way it is because.
Because
hey, is it McNancy? McNancy.
So, yes.
McNancy. Then we're definitely glad to have you here as a designer. Hopefully,
some of the best like advice and feedback that we have gotten on this stream has been from other designers. So thank you so much for stopping in. We're so happy you're here.
Totally feel free to fire away any questions or, any insight that you have, things that maybe you've done differently. It'd be super cool.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. Now, this is something that we did not talk about off stream, which is unprofessional of us. But Corey, do you want to run through character creation, and I will like handle relative scrolling responsibilities, or how do you want to do this?
Let's I'll run through character creation.
Okay,
Let me just make sure I got this open on a different screen.
Yeah, I will chime in where appropriate.
I'm gonna go ahead and before that, because one thing that me and Taylor are both big proponents of is working with working with games that are built into a setting.
Yeah.
Because we feel like they inform the rules in a very, positive way. So I'm going to just read the intro off the website here because I wrote it, goddammit, and I'm going to read it. I also think it's a neat little like aesthetic vibe.
I told you he's petty.
I am.
It is very pretty.
Welcome to the electric baroque of the post collapse. The periphery burns. The coast crawls with ironclad mutagenic coral, and those who seek safety and society find it at a cost. Under the yoke and thumb of the power-hungry and gluttonous, those who have become fat and supple off the broken backs of the multiplying throngs who rear fortified towers and walls beneath them. But you are the amoral, The unchained and untethered, those who civilized folk cast off with a snarled lip and a narrowed eye, proffering petty coin for invaluable relics of the old world. Their words, like venom, fall on deaf ears as your hell-bound mechanized caravan screams into the aether. Mercenary, profiteer, contracted raiders, traders, and treasure hunters, accurate all. But none of them quite fit the bill. No, you embrace an altogether different title. Vault Peddler. So, Vault Peddlers is, elevator pitch, it is Mad Max meets the Renaissance.
Yeah.
And you play treasure hunters. So, that is what we are going to be making. We are going to be making Drew's Vault Peddler. So, character creation. Okay. So the first thing we are going to do in character creation, Drew, we're going to add your base stats to the character sheet. Now, notably, Taylor has done this for you. All of your approaches, which are on the left-hand side here, adaptation, clockwork, ferocity, holistics, and obfuscate, those all start at a D12. And all of your skills, which are right underneath that, start at a 1. So, cool. Yep. Pretty straightforward. This game utilizes die pools of evolving polyhedral die. So you take your approach, which is how you're doing something, and then you add the skill, which is the amount of die that you're actually going to roll. You're looking for 1s and 2s, and on easy rolls, you're just looking for anything over half.
So
or under half, rather.
So if I was going to attempt something like outside of combat, I would say have ferocity and then say, well, I'm going to use brutality and ferocity together to get something accomplished. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So you'd take your in this case, you would take your D12 and you'd roll one of them, and you'd be looking for 1 success. If it was something that wasn't like specialized, you'd be looking for under half of whatever the die was, and if it was something more specialized, you'd be looking for a 1 or a 2. All right. Yeah, that's how it works. So what determines these base stats? That is. Yep, Terramundi Game Studios. Yes, everything starts at 1 and a D12. Additionally, we're going to be going through a questionnaire, and that is going to be really dictating what your starting stats are. You also begin with 5 petty coin. Petty coin operates as both a meta currency and actual currency. It's for buying like significant portions of things, right? Yeah. Like if you want to travel a day in your caravan, which is like this mechanized hell vehicle you ride with your crew, that takes fuel that costs 1 petty coin because it's a whole day's worth of travel. If you want to feed everyone in your caravan, that's 1 petty coin to feed everybody. But if you're buying like a sandwich, that doesn't cost money, right? Like we're not dealing with small increments of cash here in that respect.
I also want to add a narrative. I want to really quick just add a narrative note on money as well.
Yeah.
You'll note that your starting wallet has 5 petty coin. This is not a Legend of Zelda situation where your wallet is only so big and you can only carry so many. In the narrative lore of this world, money is actually dangerous. There is a living quality to it that when too many of these petty coin are bundled together, it becomes dangerous. And in some cases, like accumulations of these petty coin have actually caused natural disasters. So as a result, that is actually why you can only start with 5, is because that's how much it's safe for a person to carry. Now, as your character as your character improves, you will get access to things like an improved bank where you can hang on to more of these things. The idea there being that the technology of that improved wallet allows you to safely carry more of this money.
Yeah.
I like to think of them a bit in the way, and it's weird. I'm going to be making references to a lot of CDPR stuff tonight, I think. But the way like a Witcher is, people are happy to see them because they get stuff done, but they're not happy to see them because that means that bad shit's happening. And
Yeah.
and I know Corey has said the phrase, they literally have a bomb strapped to their waist, you know? So it's kind of, and I kind of like that vibe. I like the idea of like, because, you know, I've played so many games that it's just like everyone's super stoked to see you when you come to the tavern and you're holding the witch's head. You know what I mean? So it's kind of neat.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much that vibe, right? Like, most people who live in, like, these consecrated cities, they don't actually carry petty coin. There's a centralized bank, and that's where petty coin is held, and it's robust and is meant for a lot of money. So if you see, like, this robust group of fucking treasure hunters all scrappy and starving run into your village, and they have, like, a fucking bomb strapped to and they're like, buying, hey, I need beers for me and my whole crew for the evening, and they throw what is essentially a Molotov cocktail into your bar. Like it's a dangerous situation. Yeah. And like Drew mentioned, like people like the things that Vault Peddlers provide, but not Vault Peddlers themselves.
The Witcher analogy is very apropos for sure.
Yeah. So let's just hop right into the meat of it then. The first thing you're going to do is choose your species. There are a number of species in EBA. I'm going to go over them very quickly here. There are the Pollutar, which are sentient beings formed of refuse and old world waste. Think like regencies and kingdoms underneath the poisoned waters. There are the Emberphytes, which are sentient humanoid plant life. A bit more on the barbarian side of things. They tend to work within clans and operate in the periphery of villages. There's tunnelers. This is old world technology given sentience in the new world. These are hive-minded creatures, but notably, if you're playing one in the game, they have been disconnected from the hive in some way. So you are playing someone who is new to that individual experience. They're the Arache. This is evolved bug and insect life. They're no longer carnivorous. In fact, they are actually levying pollution in the world, but they work in community centers generally, in collections of humanity or civilization, and have taken on roles of aid in that. There's the Builders, colonial outsider life visiting the world of Eba. So these are like the protege of the original Xenos that came to this planet and got stuck here. And have since evolved with the world. And then there are humans, survivors of the old world collapse with some new features. Everything in EBA has evolved to include alien technology, biological life. Everything is everything in this world. It's also worth noting that this is the post-collapse. Civilization fell down, and it has since built up again since then. It is, concentrated in cities, but and there's a lot of open expanse for you to explore. So, Drew, first thing you're gonna choose, species, baby.
You're gonna hate this so much.
Yeah,
you're playing a human.
I'm gonna be a human.
Oh,
human. All right.
I know.
All right, human. So we're gonna go right down to the humans. Now, Vault Peddlers...
I'm assuming that you without subconsciously you just nerf the shit out of the species.
Yeah, we don't want anyone to play them. So I wouldn't even
Corey.
say that
Corey will forgive you. I will not.
I wouldn't even
why
say
in a second. It'll develop
anymore. So here's the thing. Humans were the original inhabitants of Eba, but only the worst of them will be quick to remind you of it. For the vast majority of them, humans have made good on working with other species to ensure their survival and the development of large cities. If anything, they pride themselves on being survivors, having made it through the collapse and come out relatively clean on the other side. They appear as humans, 21st century Earth might, but they have uniquely colored skin, eyes, hair, nails, teeth, metal appendages, cogs, or gears, due to the influence of star shatter and creatronics on their biological system. So, character creation in general is going to be an array of questions in the form of a questionnaire. 2 of these questions are going to be directly impacted by what species you pick. So, each thing that you pick will upgrade things. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, Drew, is what, if anything, is unique about your appearance, and I'm going to go over really quickly what these are. In order to circumvent, navigate, or even situate yourself in the world of Eva, often knowledge is your most important asset. As a member of a lineage preordained with knowledge outside of your experience, you find yourself more prepared than your compatriots. Whether it be con artistry, clairvoyance, or the whispers of ancient technologies, you know things that you shouldn't. Or metal appendages, cogs, and gears, old world tech, steam, or battery systems. Whatever it is, remnants of it have affected and worked their way into the formation of your body. You share a natural predatory instinct toward the world of Eba. This manifests in sharp claws, teeth, or a robust circulatory system, or a natural hardened carapace. Whatever it is, you show a distinct similarity to some of the more unsavory elements of our wild world. In the world of Eva, those who can show or conceal emotion are often at an advantage. You are best of the best in this regard. Your ability to express is more heightened at very structural level. Whatever those features may be, people notice. In response to your often chaotic environment, your body has adapted the shattered and robust ecosystems around you. Whether it be the color of nefarious quickreef, the deep forest greens of the realm of the glade folk, or the untamed and poisoned waters of the coast, you find yourself perfectly adapted to camouflage into the surroundings that bore your lineage.
Interesting. So that's a lot of neat stuff. Part of me, a large part, wants to go straight obfuscation. I mean, the moment I hear that word, I think snaky snake, and I like to do that. Snaky snake, stabby stabby, and that's one of my favorite ways to play the game. Obviously, if you've played a rogue archetype in any other game, the other thing that they're really good at usually is being a face, and that's what I am going with in this game because I'm a salesperson in real life, and this game is more or less a brainchild parody of capitalist society and how much we love it so. So I think that because of that, I'm gonna go with adaptation. It makes more sense for who I'm gonna carve this person out to be.
Okay, cool. So you're just gonna go ahead and turn your make note of that on your character sheet. I'm realizing very quickly we don't have a notes section.
well, hang on. He doesn't need the whole point of this is that you don't need to have a notes section. Just on your adaptation box, you take that from a D12 to a D10.
To a D10, yeah.
Right. And then what I would also ask you, Drew...
How is 10 better than 12?
Because when you are rolling, what you want to do is either roll under half or a 1 or a 2. So if you're doing a specialized skill, 1s and 2s are what you want to roll. So if you have a D4, your chance of getting 1s and 2s are much, much higher than a D12.
Sweet. Aces are low, or aces are high, baby.
That's right. Yeah, Taylor, and I guess you're right. What I was thinking, too, is that like you could turn the character sheet over, keep notes on the back, like bio and shit like that.
There are probably some additions we could make, especially for like the Nemesis question that I know comes later. Might be important, but good observation. McNancy, going to your previous thing, 1000% agree. Post-human beetle race. Every time.
They're also polyamorous.
Also true. Polyamorous post-human beetle race.
Yes.
And McNancy, that super touches on the point that like I'm super excited to get to do this, but my least favorite part of this is I don't get to do it 6 times. Like I really want to go through this narratively driven, because I've also never played a game that does this. I know that they exist, but I've never played one of these narratively driven character creation processes. The backstory is just whatever you want. You make your character. So I don't know. It seems like a really neat and cool exercise, and just like a really fun way to learn like how neat this world is.
Yeah, I think like the Lancer pilot section shares a little bit of this. Obviously, more on the rules light side of things. But yeah, it is. In fact, I think I was playing some Lancer when we were that and L5R.
This game is a combination of Lancer, L5R, and Cyberpunk, and then like a few PBTA elements.
So you guys say L5R a lot. I got to admit, I don't know what that is.
Oh,
Legend of the Five Rings.
Legend of the Five Rings. It is a Fantasy Flight Games RPG, tabletop RPG that I currently run and I fucking love. And if you haven't played it, you absolutely should. It's phenomenal.
It's a samurai movie. It's
so
fucking
good.
great.
Ooh,
so
we
good.
like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Second question for humans. What pushed you out of your community? I was accused of the theft of something important to our lineage. My fervent protection and short-sightedness surrounding my ancestral home led to its downfall. I discovered a secret about my ancestry that went out into the world to investigate it. I was elected as a representative of my community to the larger world. I felt trapped by my ancestry and ran away from my home to find my own path.
I think you guys know where I'm going to go with this. It's definitely going to be appraisal / skullduggery. I was accused of theft.
Yeah.
In my head, I definitely have like this, like almost like corpo life path from Cyberpunk 2077, except like I didn't make a boo boo. No, I stole it, and to be more like direct, like what I did was through a very long and complicated and arduous sales process, screwed one of like the biggest corporations in Baroque out of like thousands upon thousands of petty coin, and I had to just leave, or like I'm being hunted, and I had to dump most of it just to get out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sounds like you're from a city then.
Yeah.
And are you you can take the plus here to either appraisal or skullduggery, whichever one you want.
Oh, or
yeah, it's an
one or the other.
So what exactly does skullduggery cover?
Skullduggery is like B&E stuff.
It's your crime skill.
Yeah.
And
generalized crime skill.
What it sounds like?
Yeah, it's appraising the worth of something and knowing and like leveraging value of things.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's for your character,
both of those are well, salespeople don't physically steal stuff. They slowly take money from you by overvaluing products, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna go with appraisal.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, take your appraisal from a 1 to a 2.
So now, if you had to roll adaptation and appraisal, like as a combined approach and skill, you would roll 2d10s.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
I like this. I've heard you guys talk about this when it kind of first came on, and it's kind of like, I feel like when you play like 3.5, it was like the only one that got to like really like hold like a fistful of die was like the wizard when they cast fireball at like 7th level. So like it's neat that like everyone just gets to do that now. You just hold this big giant all these die in your hand, and you get to just like throw them on the table and say screw you to the game master. You know.
You should play Shadowrun.
I was gonna say one of my first games that I ever ran was Shadowrun. And that is like, if you're into clickety clackety math rocks, like that is the game that you want to have. You're rolling like 20 D6s at a time. It's incredible.
I was literally rolling 18 D6s when I had to defend my character because my body was so high. Actually, Taylor, I learned a Shadowrun alternate rule where if you get to that point with die, for every 3 die that you have in your dice pool, you just take a success instead of rolling them.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a way to quicken the pace of the game.
Yeah, that'd be a way to simplify it for sure.
Yeah.
But it sounds like less die.
Yeah.
It is less satisfying.
I want
it's like for occasional.
One day I just want to be real rude and roll like 25 die, but refuse to fucking add it up myself and be like, you do it.
Do it. You do it.
You made me like this.
Okay, so now we're going to get to the general questionnaire. The general questionnaire is now that the species converge into the rest of the questionnaire. So you get 2 original questions per species, and then everyone's kind of asked the same thing. So the first question you are asked is, what made you choose vault peddling? I found myself good at what was that, Taylor?
Well, I actually do want to add a little bit of context to this question because we've talked about kind of the Witcher aspect of it before. But as a result, it should be understood, and maybe we need to make this clear actually in the question itself. Vault peddlers are not especially loved in even society, and usually they end up having, by just kind of default, to pull from like criminal elements. You find a lot of vault peddlers who either are members of criminal cartels or were before they started becoming vault peddlers. Suffice it to say, it is something that you would have to choose. So the question, what made you choose vault peddling? Made is a really important emphatic word there. Something went wrong is the implication.
Does it also make sense that you could kind of just end up like that way? Like there wasn't really another life for me. Like I fell into this.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
I'm like trying to give you
drifter.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you a general sense of context about the profession itself so that the question hopefully makes a bit more sense. But yes, that is an option.
Hank, on the sheet you wrote for your preferred occupations, drifter or Dr. Bruce Banner, which is basically just a drifter. Sorry, Venture Brothers. Okay, so what made you choose vault peddling? I found myself good at discerning things of value. Vault peddling gave me an opportunity to do that. My natural talents with a weapon lended themselves well to a life on the road. Determining maps, figures, and clues came easy to me. Delving into vaults felt like a natural recourse. Taylor's a typo there. I was built for a life on the road because it wasn't that much rougher than where I came from anyways. At least this way I could make some money. I've developed a habit of keeping an eye on the people and environments around me, which lends itself well to the vault peddling lifestyle. I've always had a silver tongue and a way with it, which lends itself to contract negotiation. There's more. Sorry.
There's more.
Getting into and around places where I'm not supposed to be unnoticed or unseen is like walking down the street for me. My natural talents, my natural skills with tech and machinery made me an ideal candidate for life on a caravan. Or vault peddling is one of the only kinds of life where you can truly see the world.
Anyone want to take a guess?
I can see a couple of these that I could...
It's parlay.
It's parlay.
Yeah,
okay.
1,000%.
Here's something I want to mention. Something I want to mention, right, is that so I saw impression/parlay and I saw appraisal and skullduggery, and I was like, I really got to make a choice here, but both are really important to what I want to do. And it is very nice to like, oh, cool, I get to throw a point into parlay now. So that feels to me like at a first impression, which I think is really important. It's not just are the rules good, but how and when you present said rules in character creation. So I think that this is really a really nice touch.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Also, McNancy, yes, I love your Marge, the Marge Simpson reference. I just think they're neat.
I just think they're neat.
I feel like that's what should be in the traversal section. I just think they're neat.
Yeah, everything kind of is. I just think it's neat.
There's always like that punk rock 12-year-old girl that's just like, why wouldn't you want to be that guy? Like, look at him. He's amazing.
It was that meme that went around the internet of that 12-year-old girl's diary after discovering
oh my god, the Dead Kennedys tape.
Yeah, the Dead Kennedys. It was fucking amazing. It's the most incredible thing in the world.
I did not know that this is a thing, and you were gonna have
I'll send it to you later.
It's the best. Awesome. It's the best thing in the world. This 12-year-old girl checks out a Dead Kennedys tape from her local library, and she's like, "They tell me not to trust the government. I think I am more punk now than everyone else."
I'm like, hell yeah!
It's like, yes, you
go, little
fucking are.
Get at it, bro. I love it.
It's so
your energy is amazing, and I appreciate it.
Okay, cool. So the next thing we're gonna and one thing I want to touch on real quickly, like contract negotiations came up here. Contract negotiations are a huge part of this game. If you're going out on a job, you are being contracted to do that, whatever that may be, whether it be delving into a dungeon to find some relic of antiquity, or throwing off the stabilization of power in a satellite city outside one of the major cities. Like, any of these can be contracts, but you are contracted to do it. So having somebody who can...
It should be noted that not every job you do as a vault peddler is inherently... Like, if you got, like, a lead on, like, some big, like, tech item that, like, nobody knows about and, like, you know, nobody's contracting out for it, like, you could still go delve into that. But yes, as a general rule... Typically, the profession of vault peddling is done through contracts, which requires a skilled negotiator, like what it seems Drew's character is going to end up being.
And if your GM brain just clicked right there, that's how we are going to write adventures for this.
Yup.
I had someone ask, they were like, so have you written any adventures? And I was like, no, but it's going to be my favorite part.
It's the
I'm
best.
so excited.
It's the
Like,
best part of the whole
Like, once
damn
there's
thing.
time on the plate, it's going to be a blast, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think about this world a lot. More than I think about most shit.
Yeah, Drew. Welcome into the fold.
Yeah, no, this is a game. Corey and I are both like forever GMs, except we also do play in each other's games. But this is a game made by two GMs with, to be honest, a lot of GM facing stuff in mind. That's a big part of why the character creation is this way. It is intentionally designed to give Corey, in this case, who would be your GM, ideas about hooks, right? To put in to the game as you guys get started.
Like, hey, Drew mentioned a corporation that he stole from.
Yeah.
Guess who's gonna rear their heads later on?
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So and well, I had a thought.
Go on.
It ran away.
Oh no.
I was like, Taylor,
Well-
what were you just saying?
I was just saying how this is a game made by two forever GMs, and we play in each other's games as players, and
Couldn't have been important.
yeah,
Okay.
kid
I say
waiting
all of
by
this-
himself at the bus stop.
What does divinity mean to your character? Divinity in the world of Eba is a very, very real thing, and it is not the thing of like gods residing in ancillary planes close to the main plane of existence. No, gods are very real. They exist in the material plane with you and only there. They are not the spirit of imagination so much as like some rogue swarm of nanomachines that have coalesced into a cloud of in the form of a dragon and now live in a canyon. That's a god in the world of Eba.
McNancy,
I will say
1000%.
that without an explanation, this one seems a little vague because the first thing I thought was, what does divinity mean to your character? And I thought that meant like what was like important to me from a religious standpoint, as more as like, what do you believe
Oh.
defines a deity? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fair
Absolutely.
point.
That's a very fair
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, let's make a note of that. Okay, so what does divinity mean? The ability to change whatever you want in your world. The ability to force your will on your opponents. Omniscience, knowing everything. Anything immortal is a god. Anything commanding a church of followers. The ability to speak to other well, that one's got to change. I just went on about how planes of existence don't exist. The ability to speak to deities. The ability to stop wrongdoing wherever it occurs. Anything that creates grand structures in the world. And omnipresence, being everywhere all at once.
I do like, and McNancy just said a good one. A design goal for me is always murder hobo is not an option. I think that's really neat because at the end of the day, when someone plays your game, if they want to make a murder hobo, they're gonna. But you're gonna do your best as a game creator to drive them in a direction that is going to build a more like long-lasting and like important connection. Like for me, it's I had so much fun rolling dice with my friends, but that could be any game.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget like playing like Aaron Andrasi as a Seneschal and Rogue Trader and like the cool shit we got to do because I wasn't just a murder hobo. I wasn't just like in and out of combat like it's a video game. So that is really cool, and I think that's something important for like everybody to keep in mind.
Yeah, 1000%.
I'm gonna go ahead and put that in as a note. Oh, I
Thank
thought
you,
it was gonna
McNancy.
do like yeah. That's actually good. I like that a lot. It kind of feeds into the idea of deities being very real.
I also like
And
this
Drew,
too.
with what you were saying, with what McNancy brought up, I think it's like an important thing, an important thing to touch on. It's you could be a murder hobo in this game, I think, but it's going to take the will of the whole group to do.
Yeah. Because I could just take like everything brutality, right, and call it a day kind of deal.
Well, I mean, and that is what one of our previous playtesters actually did. Thing was, right, one of the things that they ran into, and granted, Adam is a great player just inherently, so it was something that I trusted them with regardless. But even if it wasn't Adam, even if it was somebody else who had taken all of these points in brutality and ferocity, the whole narrative structure of the game is that you are a group of people living together on the fringes of society and largely living off of its scraps. Murder Hobo really, like, it doesn't really fit that lifestyle, even though it seems like maybe it would. It's something where you kind of have to pool together. And actually, the caravan system, which I hope we get to tonight, goes into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, you could make a group of raiders, but I think that then, like, that would be a session 0. Like, hey, we are, like, that's 1,000%. What we're fucking doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Drew, which one of these defines divinity to your character?
So this one is a little tough for me because they seem a little specific, and when I think of like a god, I think they have to have like half of these at least. So when I'm thinking like what's like a core that's really important for my character and like the type of god that they would follow, I think that what drives a lot of salespeople is like just pure freedom. Like you just want to make enough money that you can just do whatever you want. And you just, you clock in when you want, you call your clients when you feel like you need to, and you don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I think I'm again going to take the appraisal one, the ability to change whatever you want in your world.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's some very vault peddling shit right there.
Yeah, 1,000%. All right, just make sure you mark the appraisal now as a 3.
Yep.
Cool. And also, just to note, I very much. Because some of these don't necessarily sound godlike. I like the direction of all of them, but some of them are like, that's just like a magical ability. But instead of grand structures, changing it to perfect.
Yeah, I like that too.
I think is a very neat little flavor touch for sure.
It feels like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that plus the kind of changing the wording in the question itself, I think is going to make that a much more solid question.
But I mean, to be fair, this is like the only section like that really has much of any criticism. So like that's we're doing well. We're doing well, boys.
Okay, so the next question: what is your biggest haul? So this is going to provide you with an item with some interesting flavor to it. Scrying bones, you occasionally get a cryptic glimpse of the future. At the beginning of a contract, make an obfuscation impression roll. If successful, the GM gives you an important piece of information about the coming contract related to your chosen skill in the form of a vision. Mask of the Nocturine. The Nocturine are known throughout EBA as ruthless raiders of the sky. They are arguably most notable for their distinctive mask, which they never remove in public. As the possessor of such a mask, you add 1d4 when using this perceived connection to your advantage. Taylor, you add a d4 die to your... Yeah.
Correct.
Inconspicuous cloak. During the Hidden War, citizens of Orod had to learn how to hide very well to escape the terror of the Ember fights. The cloaks they developed have been a part of honing their skills ever since. When attempting to disappear into a crowd, re-roll obfuscation. Artifact appraisal kit. Rajul...
Rigel de Mukalon!
Rigel de Mukalon. I had no chance at that. But I'm a dipshit, is why. Rigel de Mugalon was one of the first to realize the value of old world tech. Over the course of his life, he collected information on how to assess the value of these items, as well as developing the tools to do so himself. You now own one of these sets of tools, allowing you to improve your die type when appraising the value of old world tech. The rules of etiquette. Hester Malmström, I still fucking love that name, was completely unimpressed with the end of the world. I fucking love that description too. Believing it was no reason to turn into animals. Her book, The Rules of Etiquette, is filled with advice on what makes the world go and how to grease the wheel. When greasing these wheels, add 1 die to your die pool. The bullheaded. This is the Ishtashian negotiation manual. The bullheaded nature of politics within the High Council of Ishtash serves you well during contract negotiations. You are adept at gaining leverage against those you argue with. When using the ferocity approach for a social skill, add 1 die to the roll. Soft soiled boots. Your time roving among the Emberfights enclaves of Eba has left you wild and vicious, and wholly able to utilize those abilities in the appropriate settings. When in forested areas, you make an 2 obfuscation brutality best roll to inflict 3 wounds on a target. Very cool. Yeah, you fuck someone up. You can just fuck someone up with these boots.
Yeah, so
you said about murder hobos only being so viable.
Yeah, right. Just as a little bit of context to that item, 3 wounds basically allows you to automatically kill anyone except for like a BBEG, like very high level boss.
Yeah, you can fuck someone right up.
Those characters would have 4 wounds that you can inflict, so you wouldn't be able to kill them with it. You would be able to take them right to the point of death, but it's very powerful item.
Lucky Coin, the birthplace of Vault Peddlers themselves. Orud is a place where you make your own luck. At least that's what the gamblers there will tell you. All the while thumbing their double-faced coins in their pockets. When using one of these coins to bluff your way through a negotiation, add 1 die to your pool.
Can I say that so many of these are sick?
Taylor did an incredible job with these.
These are fucking awesome.
Hunter's Spear. The serpent hunters of Eba are renowned across the planet for their nerves of steel, natural intuition, and their trademark hooked spears. These medium melee weapons inflict the held condition on a successful attack. Ishtasian Binds. These manacles of iron, bone, and leather represent why Ishtas is such a feared city. Once per session, targets resisting being subdued have to re-roll and take the lower of the 2 results. Taylor, I'm also wondering if soft-soiled boots should have a limit like that.
It might be. Actually, just a quick mechanic question. Obviously, we mean take the worst of the 2 results. Lower might be confusing because that actually sounds like better. So maybe I'm going to change that. Worst of the 2 results. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good call. That word will totally mess you up.
But I will make a note on the soft soiled boots.
It just seems like somebody shit in a pair of boots.
It does.
Why are these boots so quiet? Don't worry about it.
These boots let me kick ass. I wish you would get rid of them. Fire-resistant clothing. Your career in Vigil took you quickly through the ranks of Miner, eventually culminating with a battalion of miners under your service. But in Vigil, you do not lead from afar. When resisting the effects of intense heat, upgrade your die type by 1.
So these are fucking really cool. These are very cool. One I will say that I would probably almost never take for any reason is the fire-resistant clothing. I've seen a lot of items like that in games, and I always thought, like, if there are like 5 energy types or elemental types in the world, having a special item gifted to you that only protects you from one of those things is like, how situationary is that? So what I'm looking at for mine are either the rules of etiquette or lucky coin. So so for the rules of etiquette, when you say when greasing these wheels,
we
add
talked
1
about
die
this
to your dice pool.
Yeah.
So to grease your wheels, would that basically just mean like when you're trying to move things along in negotiation or get things to go your way a little better? And is negotiation, this is a mechanical thing, is negotiation like just something that happens during contracts, or is it kind of like every other game in the world where like it's every time you interact with someone, you can grease the wheels a little bit to get things to go your way a little better?
So I'll field this. So first and foremost, contract negotiation in Vault Peddlers is its own separate thing. That being said, the rolling in contract negotiation is largely done the same way. So unless the item specifically like specifies this only applies during contract negotiations, you can use it in other social situations. In this case, Book of Etiquette. Okay. Yeah, the rules of etiquette, you could absolutely grease the wheels to like get into the nightclub that that like the bouncer like isn't letting you into. Like that would absolutely be something that like Hester Maelstrom definitely wrote about, like, how to win people over, how to make friends, or whatever the title of that book is. This would be something that you could definitely use in those situations. So going to the second part of your question, there are, in the sense of, you have to parlay with people regardless of whether you're in contract negotiations. You absolutely do. Those are not considered negotiations as per mechanics of Vault Peddlers. It would be like, okay, you could casually, colloquially describe them as negotiations, but in the actual mechanics section of the book, that would never be described as negotiation. That's just talking with someone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say... And I do want to go over my thought process just a tiny bit. So I wanted to take Inconspicuous Cloak because... so I'm assuming, like, it's not like I just became a Vault Peddler yesterday, because there is a question called what's your biggest haul. So, like, I've been one for a while. I've clearly taken, like, nothing to do with combat. So I either have to be sneaky, or I have to have some kind of, like, weapon proficiency that would allow me to even live in this world. Which led me to want to take Inconspicuous Cloak. But the reason why I didn't was because I looked down and saw that I can get a point in obfuscation down here. And it made more sense to my character, because just like, when you're making a character in any game, you hop around, you look at different stuff and make sure it makes sense.
Sure.
That you're like, I don't want to meta game, but I also don't want to come out with a character that's just going to die. Like, hey, don't kill me. Well, you have to roll pretty high for that, I'd imagine.
Fuck, McNancy, I want to make an arsonist character that takes the fireproof clothing so bad. That's such a good idea.
Yeah. Fucking, that's actually, hey, Drew, you're gonna love this. That's how I played my first Cyberpunk character. I was like, man, I'm getting hit by grenades a lot, and I was like, you know what? maybe that's fine.
Just take explosive resistance and be like, I just hold them in my hands now.
I had a hammer and grenades, and I was like, what's up?
Oh, that's so great. I want to play. So are you guys playing Red, or are you playing a different version?
Red.
Oh, that was in Cyberpunk 2077. But yes.
Oh, it's 2077. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to play a Cyberpunk tabletop so badly. I'm like obsessed with the media. I'm excited that CDPR is gonna like.
It's very good.
Make more stuff in the universe. They plan to do more media projects, which I am excited for.
Yeah.
So I think I gotta take the rules of etiquette, because like Lucky Coin is like you're a swindler, like you're like a used car salesman, whereas like this character was like in the corporate sales world.
Yeah.
Okay. Drew, as a question, how long have they been a Vault Peddler? And you mentioned that you don't think that they just turned into one.
I'd say like 3 years.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Like, because they have to be, in my head, they have to be hardened enough to live on the outskirts, and I don't want to play someone that just doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Because they've lived in a city environment, and now they've had to learn how to like survive in a caravan type scenario.
So Drew, copy and paste the rules of etiquette into, I think it's your Trove section, which would be at the bottom left corner of the character sheet.
You might just want to take the name and the mechanical effect and put it in there.
Well, I was going to mention that to him. Like, if anyone's ever used Roll20 or done stuff like this, I'm going to do what I always do, which is like, skip the fluff because once you've read it twice, you or sorry, I shouldn't call it fluff. It is your game.
Yeah, how dare
Flavor,
you?
right?
No, it's fluff.
I know.
It's 1,000%
It's so,
fluff.
but yeah, but the flavor, the whatever you want to call it.
Hester Malmstrom's fucking dead. That's fluff.
Yeah, this guy's not even real.
Put her with a jar of peanut butter because she's fluff, baby. That was a good joke.
That was a pretty good joke. That was
a good joke, and I'm funny. That was funnier than your joke.
I'll take it.
Hey, if you're getting laughed, you're getting laughed.
Yeah, even if they're from yourself. Okay, cool. The next thing we're going to do is, what is your relationship with your current community? Your current community, mind you, is your badass hell vehicle and the dudes in your caravan. Like,
and if you guys have ever played the game Outriders,
yeah,
think those
never played
things.
it.
Yeah,
the transport vehicles and Outriders are like, especially like, I forget if it was like if you bought it on day one or something, you got this skin, but there was literally like you put like 2 Cerberus heads on it, and everything was covered in chains, and like it was wicked cool.
Yeah, that game takes such a fucking wild left turn after the first hour that I was not prepared for. I was like,
I was blown away in Act 3. I was like, wait, that's what this game is about? I thought it was just going to be like, by Act 2, I was like, I know what's going to happen. And I got taken for a turn, which like I consume a lot of fantasy and sci-fi media. It doesn't happen all the time.
I was like, I don't know. That first hour I was like, okay, it's stock standard. We're exploring a new world. There's going to be dickheads. We're fighting the people we know. And then it goes fucking wild.
Wicked wild.
Yeah. It gets Mad Max very quickly. Okay, so what is your relationship with your current community? I've got a lot of work to do to get the caravan and the people in it into where I need them to be. Strictly professional. We are all here to do a job after all. I'd love to know my teammates better, but they seem afraid of me. I feel more at home in the caravan than I did in my own home territory, or I often struggle to make meaningful connections and tend to keep folks at arm's length.
So I'm going to go with obfuscation because I believe that the type of person that my character is, when we're all sitting down by the fire after a long day, and they're like, "So, what's your story?" And I'm like, I used to be a huge piece of shit, and that's why I'm here. I think that it would be hard even for people to get close to me.
Yeah,
I've seen how much I snake oil salespeople all the time. Like, hey, I'm the reason why we made so much extra petty coin that they know I could easily be lying.
It's also great because, like, you say that around a bunch of vault peddlers, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, sure, yep."
Yeah, absolutely, totally get it.
Like, oh, dude, the worst part about living in Baroque was when the lattes weren't good. They're like, "Yeah, man, I've been there."
Yeah, I remember it was one time I had to kill my sister, and that was. What were the lattes like though? Were they iced or?
That was really hard on me. I'll say this much. That was hard on me.
Yeah, it was tough,
Yeah.
So I would say, Drew, just go ahead and take a +1 in your obfuscation. Sorry, not +1. Evolve your obfuscate to a D10.
Now I get the evolving die pool phrase. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Who is your nemesis? Someone wealthy, someone violent, someone smart, someone who just won't die, someone charismatic, a smooth talker, a criminal or criminal cartel, a mad scientist, or someone who wanders.
I want, if this is, like you said, very DM oriented, like this is how you make their little character arc and stuff for the game. I think I have to take someone smart because I want someone that's going to see through my bullshit, and I have to roll really high to beat that.
A real Moriarty type.
Yeah, so if I'm trying to sling the bullshit, he's going to be like, "Listen, I know everything about this, so you're going to have to try harder."
What's his name, actually?
Who? The nemesis or my character?
Your nemesis? Well, both.
I haven't thought about the second one.
So what's your nemesis's name?
My nemesis's name would probably be something fucking like something really annoying, like Chet.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Or like,
good one,
Bryson.
Chet.
you know, like some shit like that. Like me and Connor were by the pool. Like,
So-
ah. I do have my character name.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
hell
don't.
yeah.
I'm not super married to it. I don't love it, but it's Akron Vanderscythe.
I like
Very
that.
good.
Hell yeah.
I'm particular with my names. I'll spend all day thinking up a name and then not study the character sheet before session 0.
Yep. Totally get that.
So this person, this nemesis of yours, were they of relation to you? Are they also a Vanderscythe, or
No, they were. I would say they either work for the company that I screwed out of money,
yeah?
who would be a different company than me, obviously,
Yeah.
or they were my supervisor. They had to
Oh, and
take
they
the
took
shit,
the shit
and
for it.
and they got fired, and I was able to like escape the
Ooh.
city, and now they're bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Love
powerful.
that. Hey, let me
I
ask
like the second one.
let me ask another related question. What did your company do? Like, were they like in the world of finance? Were they in the world of
You're gonna like
technology,
this.
agriculture? Were they
Both of the two things. So what they do is, and this is why I love this, because like you can only know how douchey this is, like if you've either been in sales or marketing. But what they do is they deal with analytics. So like it's basically the most bullshit thing anyone could ever buy. Is like companies spend millions of dollars to get their Google Analytics, and there's no way to prove that it works. You just have to take the data for what it is and hope you pick the right guy.
Yeah.
So what they do is they analyze the new growing petty coin market network, and they try to, because I imagined in my head like because I remember we talked about it, like maybe there isn't a central bank yet, but there's something like that forming, and we have to have special high-tech trucks that take petty coin from one place to another, and so this bank system can like function and exist so that you can go and get petty coin here or petty coin there wherever you
Ooh.
want.
Yeah.
So what they do is they analyze like supply chain, where petty coin is, and you can invest in certain companies or blah
Holy
blah blah
shit.
with like my advice. And I basically did the old like I bought stock in something and then shorted it, and then like I directly sold you something that I knew was going to be valueless like the moment I sold it to you.
I mean, I think that a lot of that makes sense, right? Like it is like to have trade between one of these three cities. They all have their own centralized banks. It would make sense to have a sort of escrow system who can evaluate trade between these cities, like a large multi. Not national, well, I guess national because they're city states. Large sort of
Multi-city state for
multinational.
sure, yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Basically,
It's
if it takes a really long time to explain what you sell, you're selling nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what my guy did.
It screams aura to me. I see a lot of gambling and vice
Yeah, I did too.
involved in that. I was trying to decide if your character like was based out of Ishtos or Aura, but that's definitely Aura.
It's Aura.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Or it is like Las Vegas if Las Vegas was run by the church.
Yeah.
See, I'm thinking closer to like New York Stock Exchange, because like
that'd be the closest thing we have.
Vegas is where
Yeah.
fools get taken for their money. The New York Stock Exchange is where entire corporations get taken for fools.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the closest thing. Like,
Orid is if your very conservative, very religious mom ran Las Vegas, and like
Yeah.
that's what Orid
Okay,
is.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she thinks that spending your money is.
Did you come up with a name for this villain, by the way?
Let's see. No.
Do you want me to do it?
No.
Okay.
Are you telling me I get to name two things in a game I get to play?
Yeah.
You never take that away from me.
Fair. Okay, cool. We'll tell you what. Stew on it for a little bit, and let's move on.
I will be thinking about it deeply.
Yeah.
Next and last question. What is the most personally significant setback your caravan has experienced? I recently lost an item of great value to a rival Vault Peddler team. I recently lost a member of the team to a contract. I came into possession of a powerful treasure that we can't unlock. A member of my team was injured and I was unable to help them. I've developed a poor reputation with the public due to something they believe I did. I was the subject of a nasty rumor in the Vault Peddler community. I was accused of a crime and now I'm wanted in a major area. My gear is constantly malfunctioning, which compromises contracts, or a contract was lost because I got us lost on the way to the job site.
I think I'm gonna have to go with appraisal again. And it's funny because like even though like I didn't want to go this hard into appraisal because like it doesn't matter how much you know about your product, it matters how well you know how to sell.
Yeah.
It just makes the most sense. Like what hurts a salesperson deeply is like he basically lost the deal.
Well, yeah, it's what hurts you deeply, and like it's your group has come to rely on you for this ability, and you fucked up, right? Like, I think that's very fitting.
Yeah, it's very accurate.
Cool. Like how does leveling up work in this game? Because I'm gonna want to like at some point I'm like, because you know when you start thinking when you're building your character, you're like, all right, so what's level 2 like? So like, how quickly can I get like a point to skullduggery at some point? Because I'm gonna need that shit.
We're still flexing on improvement.
My personal thought on it is what I'd love to do is take this same survey form and create like one. I'm trying to decide whether the question would be pulled from a random pool, or whether it would be something where every time you take like an approach question or a skill question, and it would be general enough, and it would be focused on like your like progress, that it would be something that you could just use the same question every time. I don't know how feasible that is in the long run. That's kind of what I have tossing around in my head. But yeah, the short version is we're still meditating on it.
Yeah, I mean, I got some ideas. Like, I worry about questionnaires for leveling up, or like because they do that at the end of PBTA, and the power creep is fucking real in those games.
It's real big, yeah.
I don't know, and like obviously, I would like to lean into like more of a milestone sort of situation where everyone kind of remains, if not at the same level, then like close in power level. Like some people have breakout episodes or whatever, and they get rewarded for that in specific ways, but no one ever like eclipses everyone so greatly that they become the star of the show, you know?
I mean, my solution to that was always like give them like instead of giving them like a level faster, because like I feel like that always hurts. Like, but if someone does something awesome in a session or something, just be like, here, I brewed up this magical item that's perfect from your character like 3 sessions ago, and I was waiting for you to do something cool. This is the part where you get
and like I think like a lot of that is going to work for us because this game is going to be very gear porn heavy, which we are about to get into.
Yeah, that's actually a very good transition.
So we're gonna go ahead and why is Taylor, we put gear in a weird place, didn't we?
It's way down at the bottom. Yeah. No, it's under equipment.
I must say that narrative character creation is a lot of fun, and
Hell yeah.
I never have fun in character creation, so that was cool.
Awesome.
I'm glad you had fun, man.
Yeah.
That like it kind of solves a lot of problems with like, do I metagame and just take this feat where it doesn't make sense for my character? But like when you kind of read those prompts, it kind of steers you in what I consider the quote unquote right direction. For me anyway, is like, I don't know, dude, you don't need to min-max in D&D. Like it
gives you something to bite onto and like kind of feel out your character, right? Like hey Taylor, I'm not finding it. At the very bottom I'm seeing a to-do list.
It should be right above the to-do list. Above lore, above resource links, then you're going to get into item tags.
Equipment, got it. Yeah.
Okay.
I see the company store.
So,
what page?
Keep going down from the company store, Drew.
Equipment. Cool.
Okay.
Don't read these things I read on the side. Made Taylor write on the side.
I got you.
Taylor, read the note I made there.
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, so everything. Cool. So equipment. Unlike caravan die items, which you can use your caravan die, which we haven't got into, but you generate as a group die that you can add to your dice pool rolls or spend on like mundane travel gear. Like if you need like climbing equipment that's going to add one die to your roll for getting across this chasm or whatever, you would just take that from the mundane gear, give one of your caravan die, but we'll get there later. Equipment operates in this context. So unlike caravan die items, your equipment has multiple uses. It's not a one-off thing. As stated by the item's description, it comes in two forms. There is mundane equipment, which operates without the influence of petty coin. These items are freely available to players, but don't offer any bonuses to your rolls. They are essentially flavor. And then there is imbuement type. So mundane is 0. It has no description. It doesn't cost anything to refill and use the ability from it. It just does. There is light, which gives you a +1 to your hit, which could be a +1 to your die roll if it's not specifically like a weapon. +2 to your hit or a tag. And then there's heavy imbued items, which is +2 to hit and a tag. +3 to hit, rather, and a tag.
3. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So that's basically how everything works. It is light, medium, heavy, or nothing. And the tags, if you go past the mundane equipment there, kind of work like this. Auto fire. The item fires rapidly, causing double damage but requiring 1 round to reload. Bolted items dealing or resistant to electricity. Add or subtract 1 die to your pool when applicable. So if it's on armor, you would add to your defensive roll. Yada yada. The important thing to think about here is that like petty coin is magic, right? And the fuel for your imbued items requires that magic to work. So if you want to utilize your like auto fire on your fucking sick auto fire bolt pistol, you have to spend petty coin to do that. So something to bear in mind. The plus to your die pools are stock standard, but the tags, which do interesting things, cost money to use. So you have 5 petty coin to start, and you can buy armor or buy weapons or buy one of these like items that you can use to do different things.
Neat.
Yeah.
So cost to the refill would be 1 plus to hit.
So how I'm seeing the cost here, and we probably should be doing it like this, Taylor, is it costs 3 to buy it, and then 2 to like utilize the tag. If you're going to utilize the tag, it costs. Is that how we're reading it?
No. So the cost / refill is equivalent to first number / second number. So for example,
okay,
a light imbuement type, it costs 2 petty coin to buy it, and then it costs 1 petty coin to refill it.
Cool. Let's see. Grease bomb, antidote, thermonium. And I'd imagine these items are single use, right? Like a leech patch, like you use it's gone.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. What type of weapons exist in the game? Like, does it go as far as like say something like Warhammer or Rogue Trader, where there's just like a shitload of different types of like machine guns and pistols?
So this is the beauty of our system, right? Is you can more or less have whatever you like. If you want a mundane rocket launcher or something like that, cool, you've got it. It is a mundane weapon and therefore adds nothing to your roll, right? Which basically just means it's not a very good piece of gear, but you can use it. If you want like a high quality rocket launcher, then that would be something like you would want like a heavy imbued weapon, right? Where you can get that +3 to your hit and then also add a tag like explosive to it to cause that additional effect.
Basically, the idea here is like, if you want to make like a brawler who just uses their fists, then fucking so be it. You can do that with this system just as easily as like, I want my character to have a badass sniper rifle from the start. Like, okay, cool, you can do that. Or you want a sniper rifle for flavor, but you don't want to spend any money on it. Great, like that's fine too. It's just a matter of how you want to flavor it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I see the boy doing math over there.
And it's so bad because the highest number it can be is 5.
Right, exactly.
So I think so tags to have plus to hit or a tag is 3. So like to start you only get 5. So you can't go like fucking bonkers. So I think what I'm gonna have, I want, and now this is where it starts to get into lore and the kind of stuff that can exist in this world.
Yeah.
I either want like a vibro blade from like Star Wars or just like a little laser sword, except it's going to be like a fancy letter opener that I would like just like have like on my breast or something.
That's tight as fuck. All right, yeah. That 1,000% exists. No problem.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I think that what I like the way that I would flavor it is like more like how like the heated mantis blades work, where like the body of it still stays like metal looking, but like you kind of pull it out and then it like you press a button and it heats up and the edges around it start to get red as the blade heats up.
I think you want either a medium or a heavy imbued weapon then.
I'm gonna go medium.
Okay, so if you're going to go medium, you're going to want to do medium with a tag. Looking at that, like what you're describing, maybe inflamed or explosive might work. There's also bolted, like electricity. Inflamed sounds more like it, though, right?
Yeah, we're going to go inflamed.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fucking jam a petty coin into the fucking hilt of this fucking. Is it small, large? What does it look like?
It's like a letter opener.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
It's like the length of this thing.
Hell yeah.
Corey, I am actually noticing an issue here.
Yeah.
So the choice that Drew has is either add a die to your pool or take on the tag, right?
Yeah, so this is this is my question up top. Should we have tags are notably more powerful, I think?
Well, the problem I'm actually realizing here is that the tag in this case is add a die to your pool. So
it's add a die to your pool, and unless they have, I think like you did that condition on fire, right?
Inflamed and on explosive and bolted and all that, but it's literally either +1 to your die pool or +1 to your die pool with the tag. Right?
So this was my suggestion here. I think that if it's the +1, it is just a stock +1. If you're taking the conditional tag, then you can apply the condition, which if we go to our conditions list, does things to people. It makes them take more damage, right?
It certainly should. Let me go up here. I don't know if we have a condition for iced. Give me a minute. So arduous, bleeding, blinded, broken, covered, deaf, disoriented, frightened, held, poisoned, prepared, obscured, rallied, surprised, and winded. Nothing in here specifically for set on fire.
Right. I think this is before you had made the list of weapons, so we could easily add those.
for me, the first thing I think off the top of my head is like bleeding, frostbitten, burning, and they
Yeah.
all do the same exact thing, just with a different flavor.
Yeah.
Like
They all.
persistent damage at the end of a round or some shit
Yeah.
like that until they put out the flame, or they somehow heat up their skin, or they become unstunned by shaking themselves out of it.
And that's basically what I'm thinking. You're either taking like a consistent +1 to your die pool, or you are taking this tag which you can activate, which provides this condition.
Yeah, so the issue was that the tag did not have a condition, and
Right.
we need to include one here because all that this tag does is add one to your die pool, which you were getting anyways.
Yeah, we just
so
need to
I
add
was
those
just
to
pointing
the
that I was just
conditions
pointing that out, but it's a quick edit.
Yeah,
Cool.
and I am saying like I do want to say that I think we should probably have it so like your +2 hit or +2 defense doesn't cost money to activate.
I thought the difference was, so the tag is something you have to spend to activate.
That's what
but
I
the
thought it
plus
was
to
too.
hit is that's just the stat of the weapon.
Yeah.
Okay.
That to me makes sense. Like I have a medium +2 with a tag, and that means I have to put petty coin into it, or it doesn't do anything cool. Or I can get just a constant +2 to hit or to the die, however like it works.
Yeah, that's how I was in. Yeah.
Okay. Well then, yeah. If that's the case, then it doesn't make sense that the medium would be or, right? It would have to be and.
Yeah, we could do. Well, no, I mean it could be or. It could be +1 persistent to your die pool, or you get to activate this neat tag ability.
Well, is it a +1 to your die pool every time the item is used? Does it need to be refilled?
No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't, but it's just adds 1 to your die pool. Whereas the attacker ability activates a condition on somebody that your +1 doesn't.
Okay. So then here's maybe the simple answer. This section cost / refill.
Tag refill.
We just say cost / tag refill. And now you get the +1 or the +2 regardless. But the tag is, okay, cool. That makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, realistically too, you could just do like you could just throw in another table that's like, and then this is what pluses cost, and this is what tags cost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that has, and then the tags have a / refill, but the initial buying cost part doesn't, making it a little more clear, but more tables. So there's that.
Hey, you know what's cool about this conversation?
Hang on 1 second.
No, it's just one.
No, it really isn't. And one thing that is like, tables in your book are fucking friends. Tables and side panels and like that shit directs the eye and tells people what's going on. And another cool thing is like one of the critiques that we're having right now is presentation of information, which is really, really cool because
for
that
you
means,
guys, I mean, this is I think at least for you guys, that's kind of the point of this, right? For me, it's just like
very much.
For you guys, it's like I want to see if like there's anything that like now that we're fucking talking about it, and it's not two people that have worked on this forever. Okay, maybe this could be relooked at.
Yeah, because
it's not really game mechanics. I think the game you have is fine. It's just, I wonder what this looks like.
It's when you get into the nitty gritty of actual mechanics themselves that you tend to find a lot more.
So light by itself can't have a tag on it. Is that what we're saying? That's what we have written here.
That was definitely my interpretation of a light imbuement. Like it just gives you a little bit of a bonus. And then I
don't think we need the tag refill.
Oh, duh.
So how does this compare to kind of like how Pathfinder deals with their rune system, where it's like, so for every, I think how it works is like for every potency, so if you have a +1 potency rune that you pay for separately, you now get the ability to call it, you have +1 slots in that gear that you can then put an imbuement rune into. Is this kind of like that? So like if you have a +2, maybe you don't get 2 tags. That kind of sounds fucking ridiculous now that I think about it.
Actually, Taylor, I'm going to go ahead and make this suggestion, my dude.
Yep.
Let's do the tags at 1 and 2, or 2 and 3. I don't know. Like, let's keep them lower than 3 and 4.
I do feel like I don't know. So I don't know the petty coin economy, but if it's gonna cost me like 4 petty coin every time I like stab someone with a heated blade, like I might not use it that much, and that's kind of like,
Yeah, that's why I was thinking it
from
might
a
encourage you to
perspective.
use it more if we have it at 1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2 I think makes more sense.
And it also it encourages you to use it more, and it also makes you think, okay, my fucking petty coin wallet of 5 ain't cutting it. I need a bigger wallet.
Well, and it also it works too, because now that we don't have a tag refill cost for light anymore, it actually is it's a linear progression anyways.
Yeah.
So that actually works just fine.
Sweet. Cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that feedback. That is super helpful.
Yeah.
So did you decide
So,
what
yeah.
all you're going with yet? Have you picked all your stuff? I know you've got the
No,
Vibroblade.
we definitely just reworked how much everything costs. So you saw my math hands, right? So I'm
did see
taking
your
a
math hands.
medium weapon, and that's gonna cost 3. So I have 2 points left.
Correct.
Actually, it's only going to cost you 2.
2, so I have 3 points.
Oh, right, because this is 1 now. Duh.
Also, Taylor, do the tags increase in effiability? Like, are they more? Is that what we're saying with heavy? That like the tag does more, and that's why it costs more to refill?
No, it costs more with... Oh, well, wait. Yeah, the tag would just... If it's the same tag...
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense that it would
You know
need
what
more to
I would
refill it.
say? That you'd have to buy the tag again. Because this is like a
Well,
capital.
that's essentially what it is.
Yeah, you
right?
still have to, like, if you kind of have to buy it. So like the way that I see it in my head is you buy the +1s separately. The +1s and the +2s and the +3s allow you to put tags in. But
Well,
that
that-
doesn't mean you just get, you
Well,
have to buy the tag, and then if you want it to get stronger, you should have to buy the tag again, because this is a world based off of
You're looking at it
power and money
you're looking at it from a different frame, but that is what it's
Okay.
doing, right? Like,
Okay.
because you're loading a petty coin in to reactivate that tag, so you are rebuying the tag each time.
Yeah, I mean, you are rebuying the tag each time. And actually, it does make sense that a heavy imbued weapon, it is going to cost more to get that tag back, because the heavy weapon is also giving you the plus to hit no matter what. That's the difference with a heavy weapon versus a medium weapon, because you're always
cool.
getting that plus.
Sweet. All right.
I'm just gonna stick in a note just in case we come back to it, that should we consider like a heavier tag or something,
Yeah. No, it's not a
just
bad
so we don't
note.
lose it. Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so Drew, you have 3 petty coin left.
Yeah.
That's right. I want to take some medium armor.
All right, cool.
I want to take like a modified, think like a corpo suit. You know, a lot of black, a lot of like silver lining kind of deal. But over the years, you know, you get rips in it and stuff, because, you know, it is a little extra durable. Society's a little high tech, but like nothing crazy. But instead of replacing it with patches, every time that happens, he replaces it with like metal. He like has metal like woven and sewed in.
Can you
and,
can you Renaissance this outfit up for me? I'm picturing like a very what is it? Count
like a
Count
bard's
Mondego
outfit
from
with,
Count
like,
of Monte Cristo, like that all black with like a little
yes.
bit of armor plating.
Yeah, kind of that, but more. But think Mad Max, so it's a little more haphazard where it is.
Yeah.
Like I have a
Yeah.
story for every piece of metal and where it is.
Oh fuck yeah.
And then I have like leather like inlays to make it so that, like, you know, one sleeve doesn't just sag down because there's like a metal coverage over like my right wrist cuff.
Yeah.
That's fucking dope.
That's
There's
tight as
leather
shit.
lining that goes in. So basically, as the years go on, the armor just kind of gets stronger, narratively anyway.
Yeah.
Love
So,
that.
but it still has its regal sense to it, right?
And are you taking
so
just the plus, or are you taking the tag?
I'm gonna go straight plusies.
Go plusies. All right. All right, and you have one left. You can spend it or save it. It's up to you.
Salespeople are always broke. They spend all their money. They buy Ferraris with cash, and then they can't pay the rent. I am gonna get a light. Oh fuck! I take it back. Can I get? I want to do. I don't want the vibro blade. I just want it to be a normal blade because I want a concealed carry handgun and I want to take concealment on it. I want him to like have like an assassination kind of like he pulls it out of his fucking suit and he's like bang bang.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Okay, and
I think I'm gonna go with that for now.
so you've got a mundane sword, and you've got a concealed handgun, basically.
Correct. Yep.
Love that.
And that will be my equipment.
All right, tight.
So that way, when negotiations go south.
Wait, are you getting a medium handgun?
It sounds like it's a heavy, right? Well, so if you
medium in imbuement type.
If you get a medium,
I want to go medium.
If you get
then
a medium, then you still.
Light.
If you get a medium, then you still have one petty coin left, right?
Yeah, you can have that letter opener at a light.
Yeah, I'll just take it at a +1 with no tag.
+1? Okay,
just
cool.
Straight up.
Hell yeah. All right, and so that also would go...
I've used this letter opener for years to open up documents. I know how to use it.
So these items would also go under your trove in the character sheet.
McNancy just fucking killed me.
Sword cane Derringer or Derringer's sword cane.
Which is also my
Christ.
Drew. That's actually, I'm sorry, your enemy's name. I decided
Derringer's
for you. Their name is Derringer's Sword Cane.
I'm in.
Is it bad that's cool. Actually a great fucking name?
Yeah, and the way that it came about is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, McNancy probably didn't. That was zero part of the intention of saying that at all, and it's like, well, that's the name.
That's the name now.
Oh, that's
fucking
so
big
good.
twirly mustache and an eye patch.
Oh yeah.
Derringer's Sword Cane.
Big Snidely Whiplash vibes coming off of Derringer's Sword Cane.
Oh, that's so great.
Listen, we all want to fuck Snidely Whiplash.
Letter opener.
Well, God, Cor, I'm so glad you said it, because man, it's been on my mind. Just thank God.
Someone had the courage.
You are brave!
Taylor, you're going to have to live in fear from now on that the character that I'm making in all of your games is going to be Snidely Whiplash.
Why would I ever live in fear of that? Like, no. I'm running a fictional samurai Japan, and if you told me today that you were done with Sabata and that you wanted to bring on a Snidely Whiplash character, I would kill Sabata like so fast you don't even know.
Well, you're working on that anyways.
I'm working on killing all of you. That's my job. It's actually not true. I
was just thinking how easy you could do a Wacky Racers adventure in our game.
I mean, yeah.
That's great.
Well, because and Drew, like, you get to design like the aesthetic appearance of your caravan with your crew. Like me and Taylor last session made like this like 9-foot tall segmented like spider thing that like worked with three different.
Yeah.
So
the
like
Wild West one.
Yeah.
He has an 80-foot tarantula. Actually, Drew, do you want to do Caravan, or do you think that you're good for tonight?
So is this like the end character creation?
That is it, my man.
Done?
Yeah, the last thing you do is you take your 5 petty coin and you buy equipment.
This has got to be like the most painless character creation I've done in a long time.
Like that's
version.
This is oh my God, no. No, this is the thing, man. Like you answer a couple of questions, like and the coolest part about it is mechanically, it's so easy on like the player and on the GM. It's not a lot of work. It's not complicated to do, but narratively, I know so much about your character. Like
Yeah.
from
And like
everything
the cool
from
thing is
the
that I do too. Instead
yeah.
of like I think a lot of games.
You're right.
and
That is Dick
especially
Dastardly.
it is Dick Dastardly.
Yeah. They
They're
do
not
have a lot of
calling
the
that.
same energy, though.
But like especially when I was starting to play tabletop games, because obviously the salesperson in me is like, we could easily probably sell this product to people that play tabletops, but when we want to break out into a bigger market, it's clearly people that don't play them. And one of the things that always freaked me out was when GMs at the beginning were like, no, you need to role play. And like, you need to have like a very detailed and long backstory. And I'm like, I've never even played this game. I don't know anything about the world.
Yeah.
Let me play like 9 sessions and now like I'll email you a backstory after.
Right.
Whereas this just kind of like, it was really easy. It was like ripping off a Band-Aid and it was just like, yeah, like these questions just make it like, yeah, I'll just pick that. I'll pick that. That sounds cool. Cool. And now I just have a character.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And the best part about it is if you end up playing a couple sessions with this guy and you don't really like him and you think you have a better idea, take 20 minutes and make a new fucking character and voila, there you go. Like you're ready to roll.
Yeah, like we did a lot of dicking around here, but like you could jam one of these out pretty quick.
You could jam out a new character
you
could jam out a new character in 15 minutes if you knew what you were doing. Like,
hey guys.
Yo.
I think I just poisoned my computer.
Is it because you kept talking about how hot Snidely Whiplash is?
Well, the last thing I typed into my computer was Dick Dastardly Snidely Whiplash / fiction.
Yeah, so there you go.
No.
So that's why why'd you do that?
Well,
holy crap.
That's I fucking want to ship those too.
Remember when we were kids and you couldn't even Google Xbox?
Press F to pay
like
respects.
When the Xbox first came out.
Press F to pay respects.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I'm gonna. I feel like I brought the energy down here.
I mean, it's not even that you brought it down. It's actually that we've reached the top of the mountain and there really is nowhere to climb from here.
Well, yeah, and like I also like kind of like now where I'm doing like the little mini like review process. Like, all right, so how did I feel about this section, that section, this section, that section? And like, a lot of it was cool. Like it was sweet. I think what's cool about this game is there's so much wild shit going on that like you can kind of be whatever you want. Like, so even if you don't know a whole lot about the lore, you could just get like a 2-minute like, well, so this is what it's like, this is the setting, and you could be like, all right, I'm just gonna be like this guy, and you're good. Yeah. You're golden.
I remember when I first started playing tabletops, like a lot of people, my introduction, I'm a relatively new convert in like the last 5 years. So my conversion was like D&D 5e. And I remember the first time sitting down with my very first GM. And like I had come to them with like I had tried my best to like read into the world of Dungeons and Dragons, which is like there's like a bunch of them. There's not really like a unified world, which makes like reading like the endless Wikipedia pages about it so fucking difficult to understand. Especially if like you're not new to all that. And then on top of that, like you're learning about mechanics and all this other stuff. And like, I came to my GM with this character that was like a product of like one of the wars. I don't even remember, that had been written about in the Forgotten Realms and all this other stuff. And like, they looked at it and they were just like, I don't even know what the fuck this is. Like, I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for like 15 years and I've never even heard of this fucking thing. Sorry. And so then I was like, well, I did also make this character who stole a bunch of turnips and now they're a criminal. And they were like, okay, yeah, that one is what we're doing.
That's more our flavor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I wanted to give one of my goals for Vault Peddlers was I wanted to give players an opportunity to make either of those characters, right? If you know a ton about Eben lore, if you read our info dumps, then like, hell yeah, you can use this character creation method to make like a super specific, like hyper detailed character that's like relevant to like the world of Eva. Or you can just make a fucking turnip thief. And like that also works in this world. That was essentially my goal, is I wanted something that made character creation accessible without people feeling the need to read mountains and mountains of text about like, what is Eba? What's going on in Eba? It's got to be more simple than that.
Yeah, but if you have listened to our dissertation on how every species fucks, then like I really appreciate
like 2.5 streams technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolute art, by the way. Our best streams.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. I was dying laughing the whole time. I had a blast. But to answer the initial and important question, do we want to do Caravan? It's 8:46. I'd imagine Caravan, if we're going to use your two characters, depends on you guys. I'm down for like a 5-10 minute bio break kind of deal. And then we can keep going or we can wrap it up.
Tell you what, it is getting late. Let's wrap it up. And then Drew, would you be down to do this next week?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be down to do this anytime.
Okay, sick. Well then, yeah, I think that we are going to call it then. Just one more shout out to McNancy. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this whole time. We appreciate
This has been a very special time.
Yeah, we appreciate the all the Dick Dastardly commentary that you've been giving. And seriously, all the mechanic points have been phenomenal. For anybody else who might be out there just ghost watching, we didn't do any follow-up introductions throughout this stream. So hi, we're TGS Games. Usually Wednesday. Today we're doing it Thursday. We do a weekly stream showcasing the development of our new flagship tabletop RPG game, Vault Peddlers. It's a game about community in the post collapse. It is an electric Baroque combination of Mad Max and Lord of the Rings. It is Borderlands meets the Renaissance. It is just one of my favorite fucking things to do. Today we've gotten to watch character creation. We've gotten some really cool notes that I'm going to get to stress over for the next week. But if you want to give us a follow on the channel, it helps us out a ton. We've been building this channel for like the last 2 years. But that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. And any last Snidely Whiplash jokes or
I was just about to say, do you think that Derringer's sword cane... I'm so glad. Do you think that Derringer's sword cane is the son of Snidely Whiplash and Dick Dastardly?
I can't answer this for you, Drew.
Oh, do I think that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I think that?
Fucking tight.
You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here, folks.
Right.
Also, McNancy, if you're interested in by December, we will have a playtest document all ready to go on our website where you can bring this home to your friends and subject them to the terror of Dick Dastardly's
them play our game. All right, folks. Well, then that is it for us this week. Thank you so much for tuning in again, and we will see you next week. I'm going to be doing background ballads on Tuesday at 6, and then we have our follow-up game stream where we're going to be making our new Caravan on Wednesday. And we'll be making a Derringer-officiated wedding song. I've just decided Tuesday's background ballad is going to be the wedding tune for Snidely Whiplash.
I like how my nemesis now has about as much backstory as I do.
Oh, yeah. He's gonna have his own theme song not too long.
Yeah, he's gonna be the next whoever that guy is that's like the crazy old vault peddler.
Oh, fucking Adam Game.
Oh,
Taylor.
Dooner Brining?
Peter Browning.
Adam,
He's
Adam
like the
game,
corpo
Adam
version
game.
of him. Adam.
Okay.
I'm fucking poisoned.
We're done. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm trying to close this out like 5 times. Thank you so much. You guys have a great night. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.